Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. If you enjoy entertainment news, subscribe and share this video because today's story is packed with details. Last night, Turkish actress Demet Özdemir was the center of attention at a private fashion show. From the moment she walked into the room, the atmosphere shifted. Her elegance, her energy, and that unmistakable personal style made it impossible to ignore her for even a second. And of course, the photos on social media took off. Within minutes, they were already trending. Her outfit choice was bold, yet refined, the kind that commands attention without needing to overdo it. Her hair and makeup, with natural touches, completed a powerful look. Several fashion experts even commented that Demet now stands out not only for her work as an actress, but also for the way she's positioning herself to become a true style reference. After the show, Demet stepped off the runway, greeted people, smiled at the cameras, and answered press questions enthusiastically. She said her connection to fashion has always been strong, and that she truly enjoys events like this. But what really fueled the rumors was what happened around her. Because Can Yaman was in the audience, and people who were there insist he couldn't take his eyes off her. He applauded, spoke about her elegance to those nearby, and, according to witnesses, his look said everything. And since they worked together in the past, that connection seemed to return to the room, and the commentary exploded. Here's the detail that got repeated the most that night. People said Can didn't leave right away, that he stayed waiting, and that backstage the two had a short but very close conversation. Supposedly, they tried to avoid photos, but several witnesses mentioned constant laughter and a very happy vibe between them. The result? Social media on fire. Fans recalling their chemistry and saying Demet's impact is still intact, even after time has passed. Entertainment outlets quickly called the encounter the most important moment of the night, and another interpretation followed, that Demet may be entering a new phase, not only in her career, but also in the growing interest from brands and designers thanks to her influence in fashion. At that event, she didn't shine only because of beauty, but also because of professionalism and complete command of the scene. And in the end, one question lingered. Were those looks just part of the night's magic? Or are we watching the beginning of a story that will get everyone talking? For now, there are no direct statements from Can, although a phrase reportedly circulating from his circle is the one people repeat most. He was captivated. The only sure thing is that the show is now remembered for two things: Demet Özdemir's overwhelming presence and Can Yaman's admiration that was impossible to hide. So, what do you think? Coincidence or a sign? When I read the comments about this story, people keep trying to build around Can Yaman and Demet Özdemir. I realize one thing: Demet gets trapped in a narrative that often doesn't even focus on what she does, but on what others need to believe about her. It bothers me to see how, with a few phrases and a couple of photos, or even with nothing, the public decides who is the ideal woman, who lies, who takes advantage, and who should wake up from a nightmare. And in the middle of all that noise, Demet ends up turned into a character, not a person. To me, something very typical happens with Demet. She's expected to maintain an impossible public consistency. Some people claim with total certainty that none of it is true, and that in reality, they're together. They live together, as if they were speaking from their own couch, inside Demet and Can's home. And what's most striking is the tone. It's not a hypothesis, not an "I think," it's a statement. That says more about commenters' need for certainty than about Demet'S real life. Because when someone writes that she's the ideal woman for him or that she likes the spotlight, what they're doing is putting a label on her that they can later use to justify anything, even contradictions within the fandom itself. I'm also struck by how easily some people turn Demet into a villain or a strategist, depending on what suits them. On one hand, they talk about a new life and a new life with Sarah, as if the previous chapter must be buried, and Demet is part of a past they need to run away from. On the other hand, there are comments full of mockery and bad intentions. Good for him. Who told him to be stupid? I hope she does even worse to him. To me, those lines are cruel because they don't analyze or reflect. They only aim to humiliate. And when a space fills with that tone, it doesn't matter what Demet did or didn't do, the verdict is already written. Honestly, I think Demet carries an unfair double standard. If Can chooses to show himself more or less, people interpret it as strategy, narrative control. He knows the game. If Demet does the same, if she shows up, stays silent, smiles, focuses on her work, moral judgment appears immediately. She likes attention. She's taking advantage. She's ideal. None of it is true. That polarization is a trap. It places her where any gesture becomes proof of whatever people already wanted to believe. And that makes a healthy conversation impossible. Another important point, even when the debate is framed as the Can and Demet topic, Demet is often being used as a mirror for the public's desires. Some people need to believe they're still together to keep a romantic story that makes them happy. Others need to believe it was all a mistake to justify the idea of waking up from a nightmare. At both extremes, Demet doesn't matter as an individual. She matters as a piece of a fantasy. And when people enter that mode, they don't listen. They don't observe calmly. They don't leave room for doubt. They only look for proof to confirm their script. That's where I draw a personal line, because the tone can become even more toxic. If I already find it ugly when people celebrate punishments or laugh at someone for being stupid, I find it outright unacceptable when insinuations are used as weapons and labels are thrown to degrade or provoke. In that environment, Demet gets dragged in too. She's mentioned not just as an actress, but as the trigger of a faction war. And that gives me the sense that fandoms sometimes completely forget they're talking about human beings. If you ask me what I think about Demet in all this, my impression is that she does what anyone would do to survive a media storm, protect her space, and move forward, not because she's cold or calculating, but because there is no correct way to act when you're under a permanent microscope. Whether you respond or not, people interpret. Whether you defend yourself or not, people pick a side. And in the end, the only reasonable way out is to return to what's concrete: her work, her life, her dignity. I don't know what really happened between Demet and Can, and I'm not interested in pretending I do. What I do know, because it's painfully clear in the comments, is that Demet pays a high price for being a symbol of a dream couple for some, a symbol of an uncomfortable past for others. And I'd like people, instead of using her to complete rumors, to acknowledge something basic. She has no obligation to confirm theories, feed nostalgia, or serve as an excuse for attacks. If someone has a new life, fine, but that doesn't make Demet the villain of the story or responsible for what the public invents. In short, my position is simple. Demet Özdemir shouldn't be the canvas on which everyone paints their version of events. If you respect her, you let her be. And if you truly care, you don't reduce her to ideal, opportunist, or part of a nightmare. Because when a woman is locked into those labels, what gets lost isn't the gossip, it's her humanity.